Hi. So here we are with the middle finger, which is productivity, and success meridian is related to that finger as well. Productivity, hormones. To be productive is to be able to give birth to things, to be in gestation, and then the ability to bring forth. And the more that comes from a sense of self, the less burn in the body, so to speak. The hormones are, it's quite remarkable. I see the early years of childhood as the process of bringing the carbon in to build the body, and we see the children go out and up and out and up, and at a certain stage the hormones start to come in. And it's actually quite important that the digestion is in a good place before the hormones come in, because once the hormones come in, it overrides everything. And it just drags the body along, whether the digestion's in proper place or not. But these hormones, and some beings come along with an incredible amount of capacity, either of spirit, because the more a being is run by spirit, for some reason the less hormones, because there's such a natural flow of desiring to be productive, that it doesn't spend as many hormones. But the people who are under a lot of pressure and have to continuously bring about the productivity, they can often burn out by 35 and have early menopause. Or in males, the prostate can really become problematic with that pressure, and that's often seen in men in high pressure jobs because of the pressure of that being productive, the push behind everything. It's a very interesting exercise to wait until one is willing to do something. There is so much that is programmed, that is done in a programmed way. Very often it takes very little to just give it that moment to find the desire, the wanting to, rather than the having to. It can just be a matter of seconds to feel that, or it could be 5 minutes to feel it. I find it quite interesting sometimes when something needs to be done and the little voice inside says, I don't want to. And I kind of have a laugh at it, and sometimes it's like, no, there really is no hurry, I don't want to. But the time will come when I actually naturally do. Or no sooner does that I don't want to arrive, I have a smile at it, and then of course I go, but I do want to. And then it's done in literally no time. You know, like it was done in no time. When things are done in no time, it's because you wanted to. It has that natural timelessness of you desire to do it. But when it's done with a have to, it feels so timely. And the other thing is, great mistakes can be made when it's done with a push and a have to. Also, I find the more we come from self, the less effort is needed because we're in flow. And the being productive, and there are beings who are so naturally productive, there is such joy in being productive, that itself becomes a problem when I've seen mothers who have out of their natural desire and energy, try to make the paths for their children as smooth as possible by doing everything. There was one woman who actually came to see me. She had such a strong sense of productive. I can remember she worked in a bank, and she had cut her days down to 3 from 5, but was doing exactly the same amount of work in the 3 as she did in the 5. And she knew she could. But when she came to see me, she actually didn't come to see me for herself. She came to see me because her daughter was too busy to come herself. So she came to stand in place of her daughter, and to surrogate, for those who know what that means, is stand in for, and through her we can literally work on the daughter, because the daughter wanted to conceive and was having problems. So she was even trying to be there to allow her daughter to be productive, to have her own children. So overriding was this energy to be productive. And yet at the same time, her being productive, she bought the kids' cars, she organised so much. There was like, if she could do it, she would do it for the kids. We've got to be careful we don't take the productivity from another. To go through that feeling of being proud and being productive is a very powerful thing for someone to experience. And children actually can feel productive when they're in control of their toilet training and they can produce it themselves. They feel powerful in the capacity to do their toilet by themselves. Look what I produced, look what I did. There's a powerful instinct in all of that. There are people who are so productive they don't even know how productive they are. And with that energy of being productive, they are productive on top of that. And that can become such a habit. I see it disturb the digestive problem, the digestive issues. And there's a part of the digestion in the spirit when that productivity is so unseen and moved into that it's too much and not digestible, and sometimes the being can't even see it. So to catch that element of productivity and to find that flow of the wanting to, how productive we are when we want to rather than the have to. And to give a moment to find the wanting to. There's only so many dishes in the sink that one can tolerate, or none at all, that they get put away. That eventually it does get done. That's not everyone, but there can be underproductive as well. But we're really here addressing that sense of productivity and finding that natural flow from self. There have been times where I have found that giving people the energy of the vitamin Bs or HRT, and I'm not against either of them, they truly have their value. But when people are taking supplements to put up with behaviour or pressure that really needs to be addressed, then it's better to pull back from those so that they can feel it rather than cover it up and use the extra energy as a band-aid to put up with what they really don't want to put up with. So that's worthwhile considering as well. So there's a lot to do with productivity and when the hormones arrive and how the hormones, in many ways, those teenage years, this feeling of this energy comes through that truly is given so that you can bring more of the spirit in with the energy that backs it up. And it's quite a ride. It's like Bronco Bob arrives and all of a sudden you have to work out how to hold on to this moving steer that takes you all over the place. But at some point that energy is there to really bring through the power to be self, which ultimately is what productivity is about, to allow one the energy to bring through the self in expression in the world and in its creativity. So the Australian bush essence that came up for this one was the Illawarra flame tree. And the negative conditions are overwhelming sense of rejection. And I find that interesting because sometimes the rejection is we reject ourselves when we push harder than what we really want to. Or it can be desiring to be productive, but others don't want to be productive with you, which is another version of it. Fear of responsibility. You know, kids as they grow up, they actually... I've come across kids who are scared of say, becoming 10 years old. And I can remember seeing this child who was scared of becoming 10 years old because he said, because now I'm 10, I have to start listening to my parents. It's like he had a sense of, I can get away with it, but when I'm 10, I've kind of got to be more productive myself. Interesting how that realization came. So, the positive is confidence, commitment, self-reliance, and self-approval. Finding that beautiful balance of what it is to be productive, of balancing out the have to and the want to. An essence for those who suffer from a great sense of rejection or who feel left out. This rejection is deeply felt and is very agonizing for the person. This essence is also for self-rejection or for a person feeling apprehensive about a new experience, example parenthood, or where there is a fear of responsibility. This essence will help a person take the first step. It is also beneficial for those whose numbers in numerology are 11, 22, or 33. People who have usually chosen to do very important work in this life. Catch you next week with normality. Lots of love.